Are you fighting a stunt driving ticket in Ontario? Well, here are the facts. Anyone can fight their stunt driving or racing charge or ticket in Ontario, and it may be possible to win. And in some cases, it may even be possible to get your charges withdrawn, even if you're guilty. So how can you get your stunt driving or racing charges withdrawn or dismissed? If there is a big mistake with your stunt driving or racing ticket, it may get withdrawn. And there are two types of mistakes that can happen with your charge. So the first is called a fatal error. The second is called a minor error. If your charge has a fatal error, well, these are errors that would impact the core of the charge itself. And these mistakes are mistakes that cannot be fixed. Your charge would actually be withdrawn. Your case would be over. If your charge has what we call a minor error, these are errors that can be fixed by the court. In this case, the case against you would continue. So where can you find these major and minor mistakes? And the answer is in your disclosure. The disclosure is all of the evidence that the court has against you and will be used to prosecute the case against you. And these mistakes are typically found in your disclosure. And that's why it's so important to get your disclosure and read it very carefully. Because if something is missing, if you believe that there is some evidence or information that is missing, then you should request to get that missing information. Speak to the prosecutor to find out how to order the missing disclosure. The prosecutor, upon seeing a fatal error, may decide to withdraw the charge. Or the justice of the peace, upon seeing a fatal error, may rule that the charge is going to be dismissed. So the real question is, what are your chances of getting this charge withdrawn? Well, let's be realistic. It is a very small chance that your charge may have a fatal error, but it does happen, and it is worth looking into and worth trying to find out. So what should I expect when going to court for my Ontario stunt driving or racing charge? The most important thing to remember with any charge is whether you've been charged with stunt driving or racing is that you are presumed innocent. It is the government, the province's job to prove that you are guilty. You do not need to prove you're innocent. To prove the charges against you, the government or the province must go through a very specific legal process. And this legal process starts with what's called a first appearance. So how long does it take for my stunt driving or racing charge to proceed against me in Ontario court? Well, the charges against you, they're going to take time just because it's an administrative process. The legal process does not happen overnight. However, the courts, they can't take forever to prosecute the case against you. So generally, the courts have up to 18 months to bring the charges against you to trial. This has been kind of superseded a little bit by COVID and the timelines, but if your case goes beyond that 18-month time period, it may be possible to get your charges withdrawn because you have the right to have your case heard within a reasonable period of time. And if this period of time has been breached, you can make a constitutional argument that you should speak to your lawyer about.